Hello, everyone. Welcome to our wonderful sleep clinic that helps people sleep better. And today I want to talk about things people ask me again and again and again. So one of the most important things that come up again and again is I'm sleeping and then in the middle of the night I wake up and I'm wide awake and I can't get back to sleep. And what do I do? So this comes up again and again. So it's a frequently asked questions. What I would say is when you get up in the middle of the night, the first thing you want to do is review the situation. Why is it that you got up in the middle of the night? When my kids were younger, sometimes they'd get me up and I'd have to see to them. Other people have had people in their family sleepwalk. It could be a fox, it could be something. So you review the situation, and if it's an emergency situation, please deal with it. Don't ignore it. And then if it's not an emergency situation, what we want to do is get back to sleep as soon as possible. So no laptop, no other, no phone. The next thing we want to do is be at ease. So be at ease, make sure that we're kind of thinking of comfortable things. And then what we want to do is slow our breathing. Make sure our breathing is slow because our aim is to get back to sleep as soon as possible. And then we want to release any tension in our body. That's the easiest thing. Obviously, we might have tensions in our mind or emotional tensions. We can work on them as well, but the easiest thing is to release any physical tension. And there's two ways to do that. The first thing is, if you remember, squeeze the body and then relax and then fall into that relaxation. Then when we fall into that relaxation, it's a signal to our body that we are resting. And then we slow out the breathing. The slow breathing, where our diaphragm moves up and down, is really important because we're signaling. Well, that's what we do when we're resting. So it's really important for us to do that. The other thing we can do is body scan. So the body scan is a way that from our head to our toes, we notice any tension and then we release the tension gradually. And eventually we will fall asleep. It might take time, it might take practice, but we will fall asleep because most of us can fall asleep. So it's just setting the environment to be able to fall asleep. And then talking about releasing emotional tension. So one of the things we may be is that we may kind of have, oh no, oh no, I can't sleep. It's horrible. So it's our body being emotional. So we just want to kind of calm down, kind of do whatever we can to calm down. And so we release those, and then mental tension as well. Sometimes we have racing thoughts, and with those racing thoughts, we can, in our mind, say stop, or just recognize them, and let them float away. Imagine them as being clouds that are floating away, or imagine those thoughts as being leaves falling down on the ground. So these are the kind of things we can do to help us to go back to sleep when we wake up in the middle of the night. So I've had people tell me they wake up in the middle of the night, they bring out their laptop. No, 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 no. They pace up and down. No, 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 no. Because you don't want to increase the stress hormones. You want to kind of do the opposite and make sure that you're calm. Including myself, because it happens to me, I want to make sure I'm calm and then do my best to go back to sleep as soon as possible. Because most of us wake up about 4 times a night and we basically go back to sleep. Because 90% of people are okay, but 10% of people have long-term persistent insomnia. But 50% of people say they don't get enough sleep in the UK. So we want to do what we can to maybe go to bed, set our bedtime earlier, have naps, 20 minutes. So it's another thing. So the first question is, what do I do when I wake up in the middle of the night and I can't get back to sleep? So we want to do our best to get back to sleep as soon as possible. Yeah. Wake up in the middle of the night, go back to sleep as soon as possible. Then the next question people ask me is about naps. What do I do about naps? So naps can be very good because you're taking a rest. So we want to look at naps as rest session because people tell me, I just can't sleep during the day. But if you're tired and if you're feeling kind of down, maybe just close your eyes, put your feet up for 20 minutes to half an hour. A minimum is 10 minutes to say half an hour. So you're only in the first phase of sleep. Otherwise, if you have time, make it an hour and a half so that you follow the whole cycle of sleep. So naps also should be before 3 o'clock as much as possible, because you don't want to kind of dig into your sleep pressure, because a lot of us, we have sleep pressure building up, building up, building up. Then when we're back to sleep, that's the highest sleep pressure. But the kind of ideal nap is 1 o'clock, around this time, because you're in the middle of your day cycle. And so the ideal nap is 1 o'clock for 1.5 hours. If people can do that, it'd be good. But if you haven't got the time, make it 20 minutes to half an hour. And if you don't have much time, 10 minutes. Minimum is about 10 minutes or 5 minutes. 5 minutes is the minimum, 5 or 10 minutes. And then the maximum is 3 hours. So if people sleep for more than 3 hours, when they're not ill, it tends to affect their sleep at night. But when we're ill, if you have a cold, flu, any other, and you need your sleep, just sleep during the day and sleep at night. Because some people, that's the best medicine. I know someone, her daughter used to go to her house in the holidays, and she'll basically eat and sleep because she's very, very tired and she's worked hard and done lots of studying. So sleep is one of those things that heal us. So wake up in the middle of the night. That's one of the questions people ask me. What do I do? Naps is another frequent question people ask me. Another question people ask me a lot is basically to do with a sleep routine, a routine, pre-sleep routine. Because we're creatures of habits, what we should do is have a calming routine before we go to bed. Because a lot of people I know, they're really, really busy, they're rushing, 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 and then they feel tired, and then they go back to sleep, go to sleep for the night. And then they wake up in the middle of the night, and then they think, oh my goodness, I haven't done this, I've done this, and that. To minimize that, we can have a calming routine. So one of the books I read about sleep by Dr. Colin SP says most of us should have a calming routine between 1 hour and 2 hours. He reckons about 90 minutes. We should start winding down and doing things to signal to us that this is my time to wind down. So the routine, pre-bed routine could be, because when we have babies, we have bottle bath bed. So we give them a nice drink, and then we give them a nice bath, make sure they burp, and make sure that we caress them and they're calm. And we give them lots of calming situations, and we, give them cuddles, and we make sure that they're calm, and then we put them to bed. So we treat our babies better than we treat ourselves. So what we should try and do is simulate the same for ourselves. We have a nice calming drink, which could be chamomile drink or oat milk or something nice. We empty our bladder, we empty our bowels, we make our bed, make our bedroom a nice calming place. We make sure that in the middle of the night, if we need to go to the loo, there's nothing blocking us, and we're not going to trip over anything. We dim the lights. We write down anything. We brain dump. We write down anything we need to do tomorrow in our to-do list. We kind of stop working, get away from the working or business mode, and we go into the relaxation mode. And we do this, and we're kind of calm. So then we're ready to go to bed, when we're ready to go to sleep. So we should have a lovely calming routine, which is different for everyone. Everyone has some calming routine. And then what we could do just before we go to bed, we can spray something nice on our pillow if that's what we want, or we can put a nice, thing around our eyes. I put one of those things that blocks the light around my eyes, and some people put one that they listen to something, a nice calming podcast or a nice calming story, or read. Some people read, get a nice calming book to read, and then once they're tired, they switch the light off and go to bed. So we should have a calming routine to help us sleep, rest, and relax. So those are the kind of things that people ask me to ask me about. What do I do when I wake up? Please try and get back to sleep. What do I do to have a nap? If you can't have a nap during the week, please have a nap in the weekend, in the holidays. If you don't think you can sleep, please rest, close your eyes, put your feet up. The best way of napping is actually making sure that we kind of go horizontal, but some people nap sitting on a chair. But and routine, please let's have a nice calming routine before finally going to bed. Another question people ask me is, what time should I go to bed? So we should ideally go to bed before 1 o'clock, because we have the deepest sleep the first say 3 hours of us going to bed, 2 or 3 hours. So try and go to bed, because some people are night owls and some people are early birds. So a lady I know, she goes to bed at 8 o'clock because she felt that that was a good time for her, and she woke up at 5 o'clock. But other people will go to bed, say 11:30, 11 o'clock, and wake up a bit later, 7 o'clock. Um, it depends on what works for us. But what we want to do is stay in bed for seven and sleep 7 hours minimum as much as possible, because that's a recommended sleep. I know I met someone, he said, oh, I have no problem sleeping. I have no problem sleeping. I sleep at 1 and I wake up at 6 and I'm no problem sleeping. But I suggested to him to maybe he should stay in bed till 7 or sleep a bit earlier, so he does get his 7 hours sleep, because when he goes to sleep, he's out like a light. So the time we go to bed should be the same time as much as possible every night, because we're creatures of routines, and it helps us to signal to our brains that this is bedtime, this is the time I'm sleeping, this is the time I've chosen to sleep, and this works for me. Because I meet a lot of people who are neurodiverse, and neurodiverse people, they sleep either late or they sleep early. So I've advised them to do what's best for them, to do what really works, but put effort into resting, put effort into relaxation, because that's what we can do. We can't guarantee our sleep, but we can guarantee the way we rest. We deep breathing, slumping on the bed, body scan, making sure that we look after ourselves. So I've covered what we do when we wake up in the middle of the night. I covered having naps. I've covered having a good routine before we go to bed. I've covered the time we go to bed. There's a lot of evidence to say if we go to bed a certain time, it lessens a lot of diseases. Recently, there was a big study done on about 80,000 people, and they found that when people choose a time to go to bed and then stick to it within half an hour, most of the time, they avoid about 120 diseases and conditions or something. So it's really important for us to choose a time to go to bed. This is my bedtime, and I do my best to try and stick to it. Because I've met people who've come to, there was a particular lady who came to the sleep clinic for about 6 weeks. And the first week, she was able to declutter her bedroom. The second week, she didn't come every week. Sometimes she missed a week. But second time she came, she was able to use one of those things around your eyes and fix it so that she can listen to things she liked. And then she was able to go out and reset her body clock during the mornings. And then she was able to limit alcohol in the evenings, which helped her. And then she was able to choose a bedtime, which was brilliant. And then she was able to do more relaxation and breathing. And all those things she did within 6 times of visiting the Sleep Better clinic here really helped. And because I've been going since 2021, I've seen lots of different people and with lots of different things. And another thing is, people ask me is that why is it that I'm struggling to sleep? Why is it that I have issues sleeping? That why could be a number of reasons. It could be predisposition, because there's some people who are predisposed to sleep struggle, especially if you're predisposed to anxiety or your family have anxiety. So that could be predisposition. And then there's also precipitation, things that keep making it going on. So it could be a stressful job, could be someone, they've got a whole load of work to do and it's really stressing them out, and they take that to bed with them and they can't just switch off. And it could be something that's happened, a trigger, like someone moved or they changed job or they had a baby. So all those things are the reasons why we may struggle with sleep. But sometimes people just don't know why. They don't know why, but they do like a best. It's good to know, give ourselves the best kind of reasons why I can't sleep. It could be because I lost my loved one recently, or I you know took on a stressful job, or some my hip started hurting me or something. So it could be a wholly, so you have like an idea why. And when you have an idea why, quite often it helps to say, well, I look after myself in those areas. I look after my hip, or I'll make sure that I do 1 minute meditation before I get into bed, listening to my breath, or I'll go to Tai Chi, because I got sometimes goes to Tai Chi, which I haven't been for a while, but I find that helps, because I find that that helps me breathe even deeper, so that we can do things to help us during the day, so that we can bring that into bed. One of the sessions we had is a smile session, so we can think of something that makes us smile and then bring that into bed with us, so that we can smile in bed. So yeah, these are the things that people ask me, frequently asked questions. Why can't am I struggling to sleep? Try and make the best estimate, and then move on from that and do things to help us sleep better. Bedtime. The bedtime should be regular, and a good calming routine before finally going to bed. Having naps to help us rest and relax and recharge. And then what do we do when we wake up? Try and get back to sleep. So I hope this has helped everyone that's listening. If you have any questions, please get in touch, and I'm just going to start answering live questions now.